The Boston Celtics have clinched the Eastern Conference and are steamrolling their way through the league. They're the favorites to win the NBA championship. The Milwaukee Bucks are their biggest threat in the Eastern Conference. The consensus all season has been that the East will come down to the Celtics and the Bucks. But forget about the Bucks for a second and let's consider another team that the Celtics may potentially have to square off with. A healthy New York Knicks team with a lineup almost no one in the NBA has seen this season. This could be the matchup nightmare that the Celtics want no part of. Yeah, we know what you're thinking. The Knicks? Come on. The Celtics have gone 4-0 against the Knicks this season, but then again, ask yourself this question. Have the Celtics ever squared off against a Knicks team this season that had defensive nightmares OG Anunoby and Mitchell Robinson both in the lineup? The answer is no. But if there's any way of knowing how good the Knicks can be when they have most, but not even all of their key players, one would only have to look at how they played in January when they went 14-2. The 14 wins were the most wins the Knicks have had in a month since the 1994 season when they advanced to the NBA Finals. During the January hot streak, the sizzling Knicks beat playoff-bound teams including the Sixers, the Heat, and the Kings. But the marquee win of the month was a 38-point drubbing of the defending champion Denver Nuggets that had the Garden rocking. So how did a team playing just a shade above 500 basketball go on such a rampage that put them squarely in the mix with the upper echelon teams not only in the East, but in the entire league? You can find your answer on December 30th, 2023. When most of the world was gearing up for New Year's celebrations, Knicks president Leon Rose made a deal that would make the Knicks contenders. He traded R.J. Barrett and Emmanuel Quickley to the Toronto Raptors in exchange for OG Anunoby and Precious Achiuwa. Achiuwa has proven to be a better-than-expected contributor and has added depth to the front court, but Anunoby has been absolutely sensational. The Knicks are 16-3 with Anunoby in the lineup. He's proven to be equally capable of knocking down shots and taking it to the basket. His smooth, under-control style has been the perfect complement to Jalen Brunson, and Anunoby's strong transition game fits right in with guys like Josh Hart, Dante DiVincenzo, and Miles McBride. But OG's biggest contribution during the Knicks' most dominant stretch of games was on the defensive end of the court, where he creates total chaos for opponents. He forces lots of turnovers with his stifling on-the-ball defense. He's so versatile that he guards the opponent's key players regardless of position. During the Knicks' 106-79 win over the Sixers, Anunoby shadowed Philadelphia's Tyrese Maxey all over the court and held him to 17 points. And in perhaps the Knicks' biggest statement win of the season, the 122-84 thrashing of the Nuggets, Anunoby completely smothered Jamal Murray, holding him to 9 points on 3 of 11 shooting. OG went for 26 points and a season-high 6 steals when he wasn't blanketing Murray that night. Anunoby's tremendous defensive versatility does not go unnoticed by his teammates. Isaiah Hartenstein told reporters, "You can just put him on whoever. I think that's the luxury that we have with him." And Josh Hart added, "He knocks down shots, gets big defensive stops. That's his game. It's great to have him out there. He helps this team go." Still not convinced a healthier Knicks team can be a serious threat? Let's have a quick look at some defensive stats. In December, OG Anunoby was still a member of the Toronto Raptors, and the Knicks lost Mitchell Robinson to injury on the 8th of the month. Needless to say, their defense suffered, and they surrendered 124.8 points per game to opponents during a lackluster month that saw them go 6-8. Flip the calendar to January 2024, Mitchell Robinson is still out, but OG Anunoby joins the team. His defensive energy lights a fire in his teammates, and suddenly everyone is buying in on defense. The Knicks allow a stingy 100.1 points per game. The 24-point decrease in points allowed is the largest drop-off from one month to the next in NBA history. Now, they'll need to get healthy in a hurry, but if the Knicks can find a way to get OG Anunoby and Mitchell Robinson healthy and up to speed at the same time, they'll be a real problem in the Eastern Conference playoffs. Unfortunately, word came down late last week that the Knicks all-star forward Julius Randle will undergo season-ending shoulder surgery. His loss is a big blow, but thanks to great depth and a season-long next man up mentality, it can be overcome. The Nova Knicks, that is Jalen Brunson, Josh Hart, and Dante DiVincenzo, have all upped their scoring in Randle's absence and will have to continue to do so in the playoffs. DiVincenzo in particular will be counted on as primary scorer. Since stepping into the starting lineup full-time in Randle's absence, DiVincenzo has upped his scoring from 11.4 points per game to 21.4. Anunoby, Randle, and Robinson had all been penciled in as starters for the Knicks, yet they have never all played together in a single game this season. Robinson missed 50 61 games this season after sustaining an ankle injury on December 8th, ironically in a game against the Celtics that required surgery. Prior to his injury, Robinson was having his best season ever, devouring offensive rebounds, protecting the rim, disrupting passing lanes, and guarding pick and rolls like never before. He was putting together a case for the NBA All-Defensive Team. He finally returned to action on March 27th. And while Knicks coach Tom Thibodeau has him on a minutes restriction as he eases him back into the lineup, Robinson managed to grab 12 rebounds, including 7 offensive, in just 20 minutes of action in his second game back, proving just how valuable he is on the boards for the Knicks. The combination of Mitchell Robinson and his backup, the equally disruptive Isaiah Hartenstein, form arguably the best pair of rim protectors at the center position in the league. They both can hold their ground in the paint, and are also agile enough to shadow athletic big men like the Celtics' Kristaps Porzingis all the way out to the three-point line. And perhaps most importantly, Robinson and Hartenstein's paint presence allows athletic wing players like OG Anunoby, Dante DiVincenzo, and Josh Hart to aggressively hunt steals and jump the passing lanes, knowing any misses will be cleaned up in the paint. The Boston Celtics are an experienced team that has been in this position before, getting at least as far as the conference finals in 5 out of the last 7 years. No other team in the league can match what the Celtics have when Jason Tatum, Jalen Brown, Derek White, Drew Holiday, and Kristaps Porzingis are on the floor together. They are an incredible collection of skill, size, speed, and strength. While the Celtics don't have many weaknesses, there are 2 areas that a strong defensive team like the Knicks could take advantage of. The first is offensive rebounding. The Knicks are the best offensive rebounding team in the league. Isaiah Hartenstein, Mitchell Robinson, and Precious Achiuwa all grab offensive rebounds at high rates. Second chance points will be crucial in hotly contested playoff games. Robinson in particular has already proven that he can take on formidable front lines in the playoffs. Last season, he manhandled the Cleveland Cavaliers' otherwise imposing front line of Jarrett Allen and Evan Mobley in the paint and on the boards. The final potential weakness that even diehard Celtics cannot deny is their recent history of having great regular seasons only to come up short in the playoffs against lower-seeded opponents. Last season's conference finals loss as a 2 seed to the number 8 seed Miami Heat still hurts like an open wound. Jason Tatum's unfortunate Game 7 ankle injury aside, the Celtics dug themselves a hole they could not get out of due to an unfortunate case of hero ball. Tatum and Jalen Brown seemingly took turns in the early games of the series trying to beat the Heat all by themselves. One unnamed NBA head coach recently commented on this one blemish on the Celtics' otherwise stellar and consistent regular season brilliance. The coach said, "The thing I worry about with Boston is that they sometimes hunt mismatches too hard, instead of just playing and letting them happen more organically. When they're whipping the ball around, damn, that's beautiful to watch. And you're thinking, how the hell are we ever going to stop this? But if you can slow them down, some of their guys get frustrated and try to make plays. They're good enough to do it a lot of the time, but if it doesn't work once or twice, it seems to throw them off on both ends. The thing is, the game slows down in the playoffs, and that's going to be the challenge for them. They have to play with pace even in the half court. The New York Knicks have some key players working their way back into the lineup after lengthy absences due to injuries. The question remains if OG Anunoby and Mitchell Robinson can perform at their pre-injury levels. If they can, even the powerhouse Boston Celtics will have their hands full with a feisty and resilient Knicks squad that's motivated to get the Garden rocking once again and prove to the league that they are a serious threat that will have to be dealt with.